Do you find yourself changing to be accepted by those around you? Do you fall in love with someone because of who you think they are? Do you feel upset when a person you love doesn't match the ideals you thought they embodied? Pygmalion is the story of a person who makes another from their ideals. It is a story that has been told for centuries and become a metaphor for both how we change to fit with another and how we ourselves fall in love with objects of our own making. This is The Gods Are Alive, Pygmalion, in love with your own design. Even for the ancients, Cyprus is an old country. For it is at the beaches near the Cypriot city of Paphos, which saw the birth of Venus, or as we might call her, Aphrodite, the sublime goddess of love and desire. Cyprus was a center of worship for the goddess, and those that denied her divinity paid dearly. The island is home to the Propatides, women who had denied that Aphrodite was the goddess. In her anger at such blasphemy, she removed their sense of shame and forced them to sell their bodies and reputations. Slowly, their blood hardened such that any movement began to change them to flint. King Pygmalion walked past the Propatides, frozen in flint, and felt contempt for what he saw as low morals. With each sneer, he determined that he would use his incredible talent as a sculptor to create a woman of his own, the perfect woman, a woman of his own making. King Pygmalion orders the finest marble to be found and taken to his workshop. Immediately he knows his plan is perfect. Looking at the blank stone before him, he smiles, and his heart beats faster. Staring at the marble, he can already see her trapped within. He takes his hammer and chisel and immediately sets about his work of releasing her and realizing his divine desire. Night and day and night, he works. He chips and chisels, he smooths the edges and then chips again and chisels some more. Slowly and meticulously, piece by piece, the marble takes shape. Parts of the marble that could have been a this or that is removed and discarded. What might have been a blemish is erased. What could have been an error is cut out. Pygmalion's perfect woman has no error, no mistake, no voice. She will be the embodiment of all he wants. She may be made of stone like the Propatides he scorns, but that is where the likeness will end. Pygmalion works and works. Each gleaming white curve is lovingly carved and each snow-white line is carefully shaped. He crafts the waves in her hair and polishes the tips of her glistening toes until finally he steps back to look. So scintillatingly beautiful she is that mere words fail him. So unlike the others. Made by him, she is perfect. Amongst the marble dust and broken stones of lost potential, she stands gleaming. In the reflection of the sunlight from her eyes, he smiles because she is everything he wants. He names her Galatea, she who is milk white. Overrun with love for her, Pygmalion rushes and kisses her shaped feet, legs, fingers, and palms. He reaches up, kissing stone-cold lips, whispers to his statue, his Galatea, that he loves her like no other, that they will always be together, that they will never be parted, that made by him she is perfect. She remains standing, silent and still. Pygmalion sleeps by the figure and the next day kisses the statue with renewed passion and orders that every day henceforth fresh flowers be brought for his Galatea. He will not part her company save for one thing, the festival of Aphrodite. At the temple of Aphrodite, a great festival in honor of the goddess is held. All citizens attend and enjoy the music, laughter, dancing, and rejoicing at what a wonderful thing it is to love, and how wonderful it is to be loved. As king, Pygmalion must attend. but he is silent while others sing songs of their loves. Away from his Galatea, he has no passion for dancing, no appetite for eating. Like the statue, he is unmoved. The festival approaches its zenith, and people gather at the statue of Aphrodite. Citizens make dedications and hopeful wishes for love. Pygmalion approaches. He bows before the goddess and whispers his heart's desire. A living likeness of my ivory girl. At that moment, the air stills, and the sun becomes brighter, if only for a second. And Pygmalion knows he must return to his workshop and his precious statue. He rushes to his workshop and sees Galatea still there, bathed in sunlight and washed with the perfume of the many flowers arranged at her feet. Overcome with affection, he approaches and kisses its lips, but this time, it is not the cool ivory he feels, but something warm, and something that is almost like a smile. Pygmalion tries to step back, the lips follow him, and he feels soft hands on him. He opens his eyes and sees Galatea looking at him, only this time she is alive. Aphrodite has blessed Pygmalion with his heart's desire. His statue, his Galatea, is living, breathing, and loves him too. How could she not? He has made her to do so. Together they will be Pygmalion and his Galatea. Pygmalion has the embodiment of all he wants, and Galatea is nothing but what Pygmalion wants. They will remain together in Cyprus and will remain for a long time. In thanks to the goddess of desire, Pygmalion names the child they will have together Paphos, the name of the city by the shores from which Aphrodite was born. There is many a metaphor in the myth of Pygmalion, and the story has been retold repeatedly. Famously, Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion and the musical adaptation My Fair Lady focuses on the story of a working-class woman who was made part of high society by a linguist teaching her how to talk like a member of the upper classes, what we may call fake it till you make it. That we adopt a persona or costume to fit in with the expectations of another so that we can be accepted. Think of a job interview or a first date. Are you dressing as the best version of you, or are you dressing to be the best version of yourself that they would like? It can feel that when we adopt a persona or allow others to believe our thoughts are theirs is manipulative, or, at least, does not give a good account of ourselves. It doesn't feel honest, and it isn't authentic. We all want to live an authentic life, and in that quest, we betray ourselves by adopting the mannerisms, customs, words, and even ideas of those we wish to follow or be associated with. In pleasing another, we hide part of ourselves. In trying to be liked by others, we mirror them and can find ourselves becoming what they want us to be rather than who we are. In those moments, we are Galatea, a personification of what we think the other person wants. Similarly, we find a dislike for people who don't behave as we would like them to, or maybe they have the opinions we don't wish them to have. We believe that a person should be themselves. They should be honest about what they like, what they don't like. Yet at the same time, when they break the mold of who we think they are or who we would like them to be, we find it disappointing. It can even make us angry. In those moments, we feel the spirit of Pygmalion. The person is not fitting a mold we have imposed on them. All of us have such moments. With partners, family, and friends, we find ourselves becoming like Galatea. Perhaps it's a relationship where you find yourself becoming a character in another person's script, or playing a role for your friends and family. Maybe you find a person in your life doesn't fulfill what you thought they should do. You thought they would be a replacement for something else missing in your life, or be the last piece that would make you complete. Such things are not uncommon. Sometimes it may even be necessary to be a role for someone else, or expect a person in your life to fulfill the potential you see in them. If it is necessary or not, It is not unusual we find ourselves becoming who we believe will be acceptable to another, just as we project our ideals onto another person and feel negatively when that person does not fulfill that vision. We can find ourselves being both Pygmalion and Galatea. All too often we cast those we love into ideals we ourselves have projected onto them, and when they break the mold, we are upset by this. We may not like to consider if they were to stick to the mold, we may become bored with the relationship for being predictable. Equally, we find ourselves changing and being changed by another, not to become a more authentic version of ourselves, but to be loved and accepted by another. Consciously or unconsciously, we adopt the roles other people seem to want us to fulfill, and we wear these roles like hats, hoping to be accepted by the other. It's no mistake that Aphrodite, goddess of love and desire, blesses Pygmalion and makes the statue come alive. Still, we should remember that Pygmalion was already in love with Galatea because he loved the idea of Galatea. Galatea was changed, chipped and chiseled to be accepted. It is not a healthy phenomenon. Changing to be accepted, whilst understandable, can lead to us sacrificing parts of us that make us unique. It hides us from the world and even from ourselves. Equally, expecting others to conform to our ideals is unlikely to bring us meaningful relationships. We all need connection with other, real human beings and not two-dimensional constructs of our minds. A possible solution to the problem of becoming trapped in thought is found in a retelling of Pygmalion, the story of Pinocchio. Pinocchio is the story of a toy maker called Geppetto who makes a puppet, Pinocchio, and loves the puppet from the moment of conception. While Geppetto may love Pinocchio as being of his own design, he wishes Pinocchio to be real. It's not a living puppet he wants, but a living person, with all the errors and mistakes. When it comes to our ideas and ideals, like Geppetto, we should cut the strings, accepting people for who they are, and learn and accept who we are as well. This is The Gods Are Alive. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know in the comments if you've had any experiences of changing for others and if others were not who you thought they were. And as always, please like and subscribe. It really helps.